Honoring the Journey is made possible by Choircast from Choir Publishing. Choir exists to amplify voices that might otherwise go unheard, voices like mine that invite us to rethink, reimagine, and rediscover faith and spirituality. Many voices, one message, Choir. Explore more at choir.com. That's QUOIR.com. Well, hello, my friends. I have a very special Honoring the Journey episode today because today you get to meet somebody who means the absolute world to me. It's my oldest daughter, Stephanie Nease. Hello, Miss Stephanie.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me on the pod.
It's so funny. When I started doing Honoring the Journey, I was like, I am not going to involve my kids unless they want to be involved. Like, I'm not going to ask them to do anything. I'm not going to try to put them in the spotlight. The spotlight, I've chosen to be in it just because I want to share my journey, but their journey is their choice. And so Stephanie and I have been talking about this for a while, and she's like, Mom, I think I'm ready. And I was like, okay, you tell me when. And that was 4 months ago. So
Day 6. It's been a minute.
It's been a hot minute.
I had to go searching.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's really, really hard. It's a vulnerable thing to do, to share your journey. But I have found so much healing in doing that for myself. And also realizing that there are a lot of people who resonate with so much of my journey, that I know you're going to touch on so many different issues that so many people are going to relate to, especially millennials. Hello. She is a millennial. And yes. And so I'm so excited you're here, Steph. So I guess what we're going to do is we're just going to start from your earliest memory of anything you want to talk about, your journey, your life, our religious kind of upbringing that we so lovingly bestowed upon you. And I've already queued up Stephanie. I said, listen, I did some things wrong. It's okay if you talk about them. Like, I will not take it personal. We both know I've grown through this, but so you're going to hear some things about me that you never heard before too. So anyways, let's talk, Steph. Tell me what you remember first.
One of my earliest memories is probably when I was 4. I got really sick. I had the chicken pox and scratched one open. The strep germ infected it. I got really sick, and you knew I was not okay. It was not just a normal chicken pox.
It was,
type thing. You were like 24. Me and Tommy, I was probably 4. Tommy was probably 2, maybe.
Yeah. If that, at that point.
And I just remember that was pretty scary. A lot of the doctors didn't think I'd make it. I personally, my memories are a lot of good memories. I remember my nurse who gave me a little panda bear, like a finger puppet type thing, which I loved, and riding up and down the elevators with Gigi, and seeing all my family come visit. I know for you, it probably wasn't as happy. And I do remember some of the bad stuff, like going into surgery, and I had a chest tube. It was looking bleak.
It was really scary. They didn't think they basically brought a chaplain in and said, do you want him to pray with you? It doesn't look good. And I was like, and that was when I decided to say a prayer. And I thought God was mad at me, and I thought he was taking my daughter away from me because I was not going to church, and I was not being the good Christian girl that I was raised to be. I was kind of running away from it. And so I prayed and I said, listen, please don't take her. I'll dedicate her to you if you just let me keep her. And I didn't think he wanted me because, I was a piece of trash in my mind, and in God's mind, I thought. And so, as soon as she got out of the hospital, we had her butt in church. We didn't go, but we took her. You remember that?
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah. Mom and Dad hung over, taking me to church on Sundays and picking me up. But I remember feeling, I feel like probably at 4, I didn't understand what that all meant. But as I grew up, and especially in middle school, I feel like that was very pivotal in my like faith journey. But feeling that responsibility, and like, I've always loved being a hero. I've always been the easy one. And so this felt like almost like a step into what I felt like I was supposed to be doing with my life. Like, all right, I'm dedicated to God. I am now his person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it was obviously a big part of my testimony growing up. And even I think it was when I was in seventh grade, you and dad came to church with me. You guys finally did.
Mhm.
And because it was my responsibility to bring you guys with me. And you guys became Christians a little after, like that summer, I remember. And I felt very responsible for that, like that I was the one who helped you guys come to faith.
Well, you probably feel that way because I was very clear about telling you and everyone. Like my testimony was my daughter, and to be honest, Stephanie, when you went to church, you seemed really happy to be there. Like when I grew up in church, I hated it. It was
Mhm.
scary. I was always worried about, going to hell. We were really into the rapture theology and all of that. But like with you, it was different. And I was
Mhm.
like, okay, now if being a Christian looks like that, I could probably I could do this.
Yeah.
And, so we did. We went back to church and then that was like 2003.
Mhm.
Surrendered our lives to Jesus and went all freaking in. Quit drinking, quit smoking, quit it all. And
Yeah.
decided to, I guess hang out with you in church stuff.
Yeah, let's go.
Thank you for that.
But yeah, I guess. But yeah, but feeling just really responsible,
Yeah.
to bring everyone I could, to faith. And,
Where do you
um,
think that came from?
I mean, a part of it feeling like I was dedicated to God for a purpose, like I had to he saved my life. I couldn't waste this life that he's given me. I knew, of course, the doctrine of and theology of Christianity is like bring people to Christ, like
Mhm.
have people say the prayer, like let's how many one more, just one more, and all of the little cliches.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I adopted that really quickly. It felt like there was something purposeful about my life. It seemed bigger than myself. I enjoyed the community within the church. And yeah, I think it just kind of fit naturally with how I already was.
Yeah.
Um, just like
Just
wanting to
you
be
were
a good
such a
person and
lovely you're still
love
the same
people.
person, by the way. Still
Yeah, thank you.
lovely, kind. Stephanie literally lights up a room when she walks into it. And all of my friends here who know you, Stephanie, always say that. Like
It's so
as soon
sweet.
as they see you, it's like they just get calm. You just have that effervescence about you. And I think that in Christianity, probably you learned how to turn that on
Yeah.
pretty well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so I was heavily involved in church. I remember, like, being in 4th grade on the bus on my way to school and getting in trouble for singing, like, Christian songs with everyone. And, like, I got in trouble in, 7th grade for telling a Jewish person about Jesus, and I thought I was being persecuted. And,
I remember
um
thinking that too. I was like, "Oh, my child is so brave and so amazing." I probably encouraged it. I was like,
Yeah,
"Whatever." Oh,
but
sorry.
yeah, no. I mean, we all just live and learn, and for us, it was very cultural growing up in South Carolina. Honestly, like, if you wanted friends and to have a community, that was kinda what you did. You went to church, and it
Yeah.
was you like, when you got to know somebody, it was more like, "Hey, what church do you go to?" And not so much like, "Hey, what do you do for work?" But,
You're
I
right,
mean,
you're right.
especially as a 7th grader, I guess I didn't
Yeah.
ask people what they did for work. But But yeah, so, the cultural side of it just fit really well. It was easy.
Mm, yeah.
I do really well with rules. I've always been the easy one. Um,
You have.
and my siblings always make fun of me for being the OPO, the O perfect one. So yeah, I've always had that under my belt. So like, yeah, being able to, I guess, take it
Achieve.
yeah, be a
Mhm.
very high achieving, loved, being easy, being and like loved. So it was an easy way to kind of sneak in there.
Well, and I think the church rewards that.
Yeah.
Big time. I mean, lots of opportunities for you to do ministry, to be involved. Stephanie also played the drums
Mhm.
in her youth group band. You're so good at it. Do you
Thank you.
remember when you first started playing drums?
Yeah, I remember I was in 7th grade, I asked, I was like, "Mom, I really wanna play drums," because I remember our youth band, I was like, "Man, drums are just so cool. Whoever plays drums is just so fun and cool. I wanna do that." And, y'all got me for Christmas, or I mean, Santa got me for Christmas, um,
Yes.
a drum set, uh, that it was like an electric drum set with little pads on it, and I
Yep.
learned Reliant K songs, and I think within the first 6 months, I destroyed it. And so you guys were like, "Okay, I think she
Uh,
does wanna
Time
do
for a
this."
real set.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was like an electronic one, but like literally the weirdest thing in the world. Stephanie, it was like you were born to play the drums. It was like you knew the rhythm in your
Mhm.
soul because as soon as we gave her those drums, she was like, it sounded good. It wasn't like when you give a kid drums and they just, I mean, like
Yeah.
she had rhythm. And I was like, dang, you never took a music lesson, did you?
Mm-mm.
No,
No, I
she
don't
was
think
taught
I ever
herself.
have. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just put on headphones and try to play,
Mhm.
songs. Yeah, I remember picking up drums, learning, played in worship bands all through college, or through high school through college. You're a hot commodity when you learn drums because a lot of people don't play, and so everybody wants you on their band when.
Well, plus you're a girl, and,
Yeah,
most of the drummers were not girls, they
yeah,
were BWs.
BBs. But yeah, I picked up guitar in college to try to have another outlet because you can't really play in your dorm room with hundreds of other girls in there. So,
Yeah,
yeah, just music has always been really important to me. Um,
yeah,
so that's been cool. So it was funny growing up thinking, oh, I have to be like a worship leader. And like I've always loved to travel, but it was like, okay, so I got missions and worship leading. So those are what I can do. Like, but really, it's like I just enjoy going to concerts and traveling. Like it doesn't have to be like
yeah,
something I do
to glorify God,
to
yeah,
glorify God.
yeah, yeah,
So,
that's a big pressure. What do you think, what was it like for you? Because I know we had talked about you going to one college,
mhm,
and then you ended up going to a Christian college.
mhm.
It was a very liberal college that we were thinking of taking you to, and I was so scared that they were gonna indoctrinate you and you were gonna come out like, a liberal. Good Lord. I was like,
God
"Whoa."
forbid.
I know. And so I remember like praying so hard, please God, let her choose this, Christian university where they will instill values and, hold her accountable and all of the things. Even though I was like, I had no reason to ever doubt you. You never did.
Yeah,
Like the worst thing you did was go to Waffle House at 3 in the morning.
yeah.
And that was once. And you
It still keeps me
confessed.
up at night. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
You like confessed it. I was like, oh my gosh, Stephanie, if
Yeah.
this is the worst you ever do, you're good. But yeah, yeah, interesting. Okay. Sorry. Keep going.
Oh, you're good. I'm trying to remember what we
Oh,
were.
the college. You ended up
Oh, the
not going to the
college.
liberal, you ended up going to North Greenville
Mhm.
University, which was, a very, very conservative Bible Belt
Yeah.
college. And
Well, and ironically, I wanted to go to the local liberal college to be closer to home because it was
right.
scary to go somewhere. So
Mhm.
for me, yeah, going to North Greenville was it was really I honestly believe it was really good for me,
Yeah, I agree.
overall. Um,
You fit.
I
You
think
fit
I made
well.
some of my best friends in the whole world, and, yeah, it was really a really positive time, and I'm, of course, not completely, um, positive the whole time, but, yeah, I was able to make really good friends. I got plugged in, I traveled a lot, did a lot of mission trips. I studied missions, basically, called intercultural studies, so I knew I wanted to go overseas after graduating college. That's kind of why I went to college, which now looking back, I wish I would have done something a lot more applicable to adult life, but
To,
when you're
the
18
world.
and you love to travel, you're like, "Okay, let's go. Let's
And
do it."
you're yeah,
So,
and
yeah,
you're
I
the
got.
OPO Christian. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So, but great opportunities. I had a great community there. Um, it it fit where I was at that moment really
Mhm.
well. Like it was safe. I remember like my first college party was literally like a worship night, like no alcohol or anything. It was just like people playing worship music. I was like, this feels so crazy to be with boys and girls at the same time. And like that was the edgy part. But like as we're singing worship music. But
You
um
also grew up in a youth group that was pretty high intensity when it came to purity culture. Do you wanna talk a
yeah.
little bit about that?
Yeah. So purity culture was huge for my generation, I feel like, especially. Um, I read I Kissed Dating Goodbye and The Bride Wore White and wrote letters to my future husband and like I f for me, honestly, I feel like it was a great mask to insecurity. So it's like, okay, well, if I can't do this or that, or I don't wanna tempt anybody, it's just easier to mask behind modesty and purity culture. So
Mhm.
it was comfortable. And yeah, it was just hard. Like, as I gotten older, um, and that being so deep seated, it's so like hard to get away from that sometimes. And like I even, I mean, honestly, I saved myself for marriage. Um, and I mean, I'm divorced now. Like, it was like God was like, if you save
So
yourself,
wait a
like,
minute.
yeah, it's like,
That's not what we were taught, right? Do
yeah,
you remember? I mean, you wrote down a list of all the things you were looking f they said if you just write it down and pray for it and, don't have sex before marriage, if you do all these things, check all these boxes,
yeah,
then you're gonna have a perfect marriage
yeah,
and it'll be so blessed by God, and that just
yeah,
was not the case.
yeah. And I felt like, the purity was the last thing I had because I kind of was already deconstructing quietly before then, but I was like,
I
"Okay,
had
this is
no
the one
idea,
thing."
by the way. If I
I
had
wouldn't
known,
let
I
you
would have
know.
put an end to this.
I had to hide alcohol from my mom when I was 25
Oh,
years old. Uh,
so sorry. Yeah,
even visiting my house that I, like, have by my or me and my best friend living together, and I would be
yeah.
like, "Okay, my mom's coming. We have to hide the booze." It's like
Oh my
blue
gosh.
moons, like,
Yeah.
nothing crazy,
Like, nothing crazy. No
but
tequila or
no
anything,
t
just a couple of beers.
yeah,
That's
and
funny.
so,
Sorry about that.
no, it's all
I
part
was
of it.
scared. I mean, I was scared,
Yeah,
so scared of
mhm.
everything. So,
And it was weird because I wasn't. Like, I will say I didn't drink until I was 22. I was terrified because they told us if after graduating college, if you drank and they found out within, like, I think it was, like, 6 months of graduating, they'd take away your diploma, and you're just like, "How does that
are you kidding me?
happen?"
How
That's
did I not
that's
know
what I was
this?
heard. I don't know. So I was so
No, just
scared.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they
So
wanna keep you in line as long as possible.
yeah,
Their job
yeah,
here
so
is
the
done.
control and that was, like, one of the biggest things. Our first chapel of the year is always, like, "Don't drink," and it was by the president of the school who ended up, cheating on his wife with one of his secretaries, so,
Oh,
yeah, so it's just hard. I also have a lot of history of, um, mostly male figures, in leadership positions. Like I had a youth pastor in high school cheat on his wife with a friend of mine's mom. I had my camp director that I worked for years. He had inappropriate relations with a minor, one of the campers, and the same thing happened at another Christian camp I worked at, and so, like, all these people that were really influential in my life, growing up and in my faith journey, they all let me down in ways and ironically, they were the same people who, like, told us not to do, like, the little things, like, don't drink, don't party, don't, like, hold hands with boys, like, it was just, like, all these things. They pinpointed these little things, meanwhile they're doing who knows what behind closed doors, so,
wow.
yeah, that was really alarming. Finally, I was just like, "I just can't I don't enjoy being associated with this, it just keeps
Yeah.
happening."
It
Um,
literally did. It was just
yeah,
one it was like you would stand up after being knocked over by a wave, and another wave would come and knock you
yeah,
down. I wanted to protect you so badly, and at some point, I was just like, "I don't know if I can protect her from this anymore." Like, there's
mhm,
just so much of it.
yeah,
1 or 2, maybe you could explain it away,
yeah,
and at least justice was served and, whatever, but to me, it's like, how did these people get in leadership positions anyway? Like,
mhm,
what do they do to get there
yeah,
if they I don't know.
yeah.
I will say
I
the
mean,
youth
power and
pastor that
manipulation.
yeah, the youth pastor that Stephanie's talking about, I literally went to the pastor of the church and told him, "I think something's going on here. I don't like the way he looks at us moms." It just made me uncomfortable. And yeah, I was told that I was overreacting. And then what was it, a
Classic.
year later? We left that church because I
Yeah,
felt like, okay, well, and a year later is when all of that went down. And I did
Yeah.
not say I told you so because I wasn't there to do that, but I did feel like, okay, well, I mean, sometimes you don't want to be right. Sometimes
Yeah.
you're hoping that you're off base, but
Mhm.
you know, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, those little, pockets of time were just hard to navigate, especially as a young kid. I think, um, yeah, most of this happened before I was 25, I think, and so, yeah, it was just tough. I don't know. Um, and yeah, something that I took, I guess, like, all the rules that they had given me, I took to heart and wanted to meet them. But of course, you slip up sometimes. I remember I applied for a missionary position with the IMDb, the International Mission Board, and I had smoked like a cigar, like part of a cigar at one point, like, and in the application, it was like, "Have you ever smoked or drank?" And like at that point, I had never drank, but I had smoked like that cigar one time, and uh, and I was honest about it, and they came back to me and were like, "Okay, we need biblical reasonings why this is wrong and why you'll never do it again." And I was just like, "Oh, I don't know if I wanna do this. I don't know if I wanna
Yeah.
align with this." Just, like, more rules. It was like this is when I was graduating North Greenville, and I was kind of honestly a little excited about getting out of the Christian bubble in a way, ironically, even though I was, going to Cambodia,
Really.
so
You're the queen of the Christian bubble, you were.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, I really I was like the leader of the chaplains. I led impact groups, met with homeless people all the time. Like literally on Friday nights, me and my friends would go down and hang out with homeless people, like and tell them about Jesus. So eh, on
That's
paper,
kinda
I was
like, I
very
remember as a mom being a little worried about that,
yeah,
and you would be like, "No, God's gonna protect us."
yeah. I
I was like,
remember my roommates and I picking up a homeless lady. We made her put her bag in the back in the trunk, but we were just like I was like, "Who what was I thinking? Like,
20
what in
years
the
old.
world?" Yeah,
Uh,
like, I have no protection, like, who knows what's going on, but
but you were
just
so confident,
yeah,
that God was
that
gonna
God would
protect you.
protect us, so
I'm glad nothing ever happened. It's
I know.
great.
Yeah, this, just the positions we put ourselves in,
Yeah.
I feel like could use a little, reworking,
Yeah,
but yeah.
for
But
sure.
yeah, so yeah, college was a good time for me. I feel like I really thrived there. I remember one of my favorite classes I took a lot of like biblical based like hermeneutics and I don't even remember what PTRW stands for, but it was like a writing for
Mhm.
theological writing. Um, and I took like gospel across cultures, like basically how to see cultures like and learn how to kind of bring the gospel into it. So
Mhm.
like kind of seeing what is important to them and then figuring out how to bring the gospel in.
How to
Really
manipulate it.
really good manipulation, yeah. So these are
Biblical
really
manipulation.
really important classes for
Yeah.
what I'm doing currently. No,
Yeah,
just
no,
kidding.
not at all.
Um, but yeah, like it was a good time. I ended up applying for a program called One Story after college. It was kind of like you go to from North Carolina, it was like you either go into ministry or you get married. Those are like your two
Yeah.
options.
I remember they said they had like a unspoken thing of like ring by
Or,
spring
or your money back. I'm
or
still
your money
waiting
back. Yeah.
for that and the trauma. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Trauma
but
reimbursement.
yeah, but yeah. So I remember being in my senior seminar class for the my intercultural studies group, and of course we took prayer requests before the class. And one of my cohorts raised her hand. She's like, "Me and my fiance we're looking for a place to live. So if you guys can help, pray for that." And I looked around the room, and I was the only one without a ring on my finger and not getting married, like when we were graduating, and 22 years old, and all
Yeah.
these people were like, and so I was like, "What's wrong with me?" You know? And at
Yeah.
this point, I was like very like purity culture, very modest. But I also feel like I've been very independent in my life. I think that's one thing I've grown, and even more so lately, um, post divorce. But um, yeah, it's I think that was hard for me because I was like, oh, but then I remember like feeling like, oh, God is I get to do something that these people don't get to do. I get to go overseas and be a missionary by myself. How fun. Like So I had to like kind of twist my mindset to um, not be upset about it. But yeah, moved to Cambodia in 2020 or no 2012. So I graduated in 2012. In May, October, moved to Cambodia.
That was
Um,
so hard.
yeah, I well, like I did a lot of fundraising. I did a lot of culture learning. I went to all these classes, trying to prep for it. And yeah, the fundraising was really hard. It just feels really manipulative to be like, "Hey, give me money for this," And I just was not good at it. I don't know. Um, and yeah, I
I was never
remember,
good at it either on Christian
yeah,
radio. I was
yeah, it's
so bad
hard.
at it. Yeah.
And I just remember everybody being like, "Oh, I can never do what you do. Like, that's so cool. Like, I'm so proud of you." And
You're
when I
so
was
brave.
leaving, yeah, and I was just like, "Wow, everyone thinks I'm a hero. Like, this is pretty cool, but I don't wanna do this. Like, this is terrifying." And I remember strapping into the plane on my way to Cambodia, leaving my family behind, leaving everything I've ever known, 2 suitcases and my life in that, and just wishing that the plane crashed because I didn't wanna do it. I didn't wanna go through the hard things. Um,
She didn't tell me that until many years later, but, like, I was not okay because
yeah,
I had no idea. Like, I was just busy being the proud mom that had this amazing daughter because when you're in a Christian community, like, it really matters what your kids turn out like. Like, people look at that and they're like, "Oh, she has great kids, so she must be a great person. She must be a really good Christian because all her kids are really good Christians." And,
yeah,
meanwhile, Stephanie's, like, struggling with all this stuff, and she can't talk to me because I
yeah.
am in that mindset of just
I
I wasn't open at
yeah.
all,
I had to
and
offset for my brother too. He was a little wilder.
yeah, he was now see,
But I love it.
Stephanie oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Stephanie's struggles were more internal. Tommy's were very external. He was not afraid to be himself. I don't know where he
Mhm.
got that from, being raised from me, who was, like, afraid of everything. Probably from your dad, who's
Yeah, more so.
very confident and very like, "This is who I am, deal with it." Um, but yeah, Tommy was so much work for me, and it was
Mhm.
so hard raising him while I'm trying to be this sister Christian, on Survivor, on the radio, speaking and traveling around. I even spoke at your college once, remember?
Yeah, I remember.
And
I
it
was really popular after that for a
were
little while. They loved you.
oh, good. Good. Well, they never asked me back, and now they're probably like, "Oh, we
It's
knew
because
she
you
was a
took your
heretic."
high heels off.
I did. Oh my gosh, that's right. I forgot about that. The very beginning, I had on these high heels, guys, and they were so uncomfortable. And I was like, I'm not going to make it through this 40-minute talk in these heels. And so I tied it into my survivor story. I said, have you ever been in a really uncomfortable position and you knew that if you did something to get out of that position, it would make everybody feel weird? And I just kind of like, and I said, well, that's me right now. I hate these high heels. And I think they thought I was talking about Survivor. I was like, I got to take these off. And I took them off and everybody just roared laughing. And
So
I just left
funny.
them on the side. I was like, I'm barefoot today. And then I talked about Survivor. But yeah. So it was hard for me to I wouldn't have seen it, Steph, if you would have
Mhm.
come to me. I would have thought it was the enemy. Everything that was negative or went against what I thought was right was the enemy.
Mhm.
And I would have said, "Oh, he's trying to discourage you."
Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
what I thought too, honestly, at
Yeah,
that
well, that's
point.
true. Yeah.
But yeah, it was Cambodia was a really one of the harder seasons of my life. Very I'm really glad I don't regret doing it. But yeah, it was tough. Like when I first heard about the program, I they were like, it's a 2-year program. I was like, perfect. That's all I want to do is like a 2-year program. Um, and yeah, when I got it on board, they're like, okay, so it's about 2 to 3 years. And I was like, okay, okay, that's a little longer than I thought. But and then literally a year and a half in, they're like, this is probably gonna be closer to 5 years. And I'm early 20s, I I didn't want that. Like, I didn't want that, but you felt guilty for
Mm,
quitting,
yeah.
or and, like, literally, and with no support, but, yeah, overall, like, the experience was great, I made really good friends with the Cambodian people, and honestly, that was huge in my, like, deconstructing of my beliefs, and I remember, one of my best friends there was telling me And I love this, in Khmer, which is our national language. I remember her telling me in Khmer, about her past and how she remembers being, like, a monk in her past life, and, I just thought, I was like, "Who am I to say she's wrong?" Like, I
Yeah.
don't know, and, like, of course, like, biblically, that's not right, and, that's they're wrong, they're going to hell, but, like, the Buddhist, religion was so interesting to me because it was like, honestly, just do good, get good, do bad, get bad. Like,
Yeah.
it was
Peace.
so
Yeah.
simple, like, and, like, you
There were no
it
boxes to check.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot more to it, but, like, at the gist of
Yeah.
it, like, that's what I really, like, latched on to. I was like, "Hey, I like that people are helpful and community driven," and, of course, like, nobody's perfect, but seeing like this, like, who am I to, like, come in and try to take, like, I don't know, colonize them and
Well, this
Christianity.
culture has been believing this way since this culture began.
Yeah,
And the United States has only been around for what? A couple 100 years.
yeah.
It's like, what do you
250, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah,
fine
and it's like
almost.
and we're like,
Yeah.
"Wait a minute."
And we
Yeah,
see
I
how it's
remember
working for us.
Yeah, it's
So,
working great. We're rocking
we're
it.
really
I'm
loving
sure the
over here.
whole world wants to be just like us.
Yeah.
And that's the I you know what? I remember you coming back. Steph did end up leaving after a year and a half. I think her mental health
Oh,
was
it
at
was
its
bad.
lowest. It
Yeah.
was at its lowest. There was some dangerous things that happened while she was there.
Yeah.
She knew the language, but she was American and they didn't know it. And sometimes they would be talking about her and she would
Yeah.
be right there and
Yeah.
they didn't know she could understand. And
Yeah.
she
And
would call me bawling.
yeah. Yeah,
It
and
was terrible.
I'm like a bigger body person, and, yeah, so being there in, like, an Asian country where even,
They're
like, the
all
men are shorter
teeny.
than me, and just small, like, yeah, that was hard, 'cause, yeah, you just, like, you just don't feel safe or, home. I just never felt at home, you know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but made great friends, good experiences, learned a new language, got to check off living in a foreign country off my bucket list.
She
So
lives by that bucket list, by the way. This
I
kid still
really
lives
do.
by this bucket
Woo!
list.
I just
She
keep
checked it
adding to
all
it.
off this week or this
I
year.
yeah. Next year's gonna be one for the books, and,
Yeah.
yeah, I just love it. I love anyway, I could talk all day about that. Um, but yeah, so Uh, yeah, I am thankful again, like I said, for that experience, but it was really influential in helping me kind of see that
Begin.
the world is bigger.
Yes,
Mom,
yes.
what's that Mark Twain quote? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah, you're so funny. She knows I love this quote. And you've probably heard it a million times if you listen to my podcast, but it's travel is fatal to prejudice because, once you come out of your little, you know, box or your safety net or your whatever you want to call bubble of safety and you start to see how big the world is, it's like impossible to still kind of hold prejudice in your heart when you
Yeah.
start to see that these people are literally and you experience that firsthand seeing how happy they were and so
Mhm.
joyful and so lovely and here you were your job was to
Yeah.
change them to this religion that was literally putting so much pressure on you that you wanted the plane to go down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Like,
I
where's the
think that
love in
had
that?
to yeah,
Yeah.
like where is that? And I don't think that we get it. I think we think as Christians we're carrying the good news to these
Mhm.
people that are so lost. But you said something once, Steph, and I want you to kind of expand on this that really it was so insightful. She was like, if you're only accountable if you hear the truth, because that's what we were told, right? Like you
Like,
won't go
once
to
you hear
hell
it,
if
you
you never
gotta
heard it. You got
yeah.
to But once you hear it, you have to make a decision. And if you decide not to, you go to hell. Steph's like, what did you say?
Why do we do missions then? If they don't hear and don't have to make that choice, like, why do we
Like,
tell
why are
them?
we making them make this
We're
choice that
basically, yeah,
yeah,
making going against, like, it's almost more loving to not ever let them hear, and then,
then
uh
they can kind of get through on the what do you call that when it's like a loophole?
yeah,
They can go to
exactly.
hever and be like, well, I never knew that. And God
I
be like, oh,
never knew.
okay.
Oh, yeah,
All
never.
right.
Oh,
Well, that's fair. My
you're good.
Christians let you down, so
Yeah,
I'll let you in. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's just a lot of pressure, to be a young adult, literally wanting to change the world, but I think I learned too then, because I had up to that point, I, like, grew up in church, went to a Christian school, worked at Christian camps, like always around good people, good like bubbles of people. But like I finally got out into the world in the same type of bubble, but also like not at all. And
Yeah.
like just learning these people are good. Like I don't have to change them.
You don't have to
Um,
believe a certain way in order to be worthy.
yeah. Yeah. And it's just like, it was just hard. I don't, it was good for me, but yeah, that was the lowest I've been. I remember like just staying in bed for days and just like couldn't get up and
Yeah.
whew, it was
Well, and I
hard.
remember you coming back, and I thought the mission organization that you went with told you, we'll make sure you get all the help you need psychologically. We'll, send you to a counselor, a Christian one, of course,
Of
and
course.
we'll, take care of it because they knew she was struggling emotionally. And then nothing happened.
Yeah.
Nothing. I was so mad.
And
I
it
bet
was
that was
hard.
when I was starting, because I had come back from Survivor, of course,
Yeah.
a few years before. So already I was asking questions and then seeing the way that they treated her, almost like they dropped her on the doorstep and we never heard from them again.
Well, and like I remember them being not happy. I mean, not everyone,
Yeah.
but some of the people that were in the organization, like my bosses, like my supervisors were some of the best people I know in my life. And I still love them so deeply to this day. But some of the other people, yeah, it was like, I can't believe you're quitting. Like, what? And
Yeah.
I just
What if
was like, I
Jesus
didn't
would have quit?
exactly.
We'd all be going to
I was like,
hell.
there's enough of you. That's fine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I also just I didn't love making friends in order to change them. Again, that feels very manipulative. I feel like that's the basis of a lot of the steps in my life with like the fundraising and the proselyte. I knew I was going to try to say this word, whatever, evangelizing. That's the best.
Proselytizing.
I was like, Mom, I can't say it.
Evangelizing. We'll call it that. Yes.
Evangelizing
Yes.
easier.
Okay. Yes.
But yeah, I just never I never enjoyed that part
Yeah.
of the
Well, it
I just wanted
seems
to get to know people, and I love people. Like I love getting to know stories and love getting to know the differences. And I will say I think my favorite oh, I'm trying to think. The one of the thing I learned about in going to North Greenville and studying intercultural studies is like there's a lot of differences. There's a lot of things that connect us. Um, so I really appreciate that. I can see like there's different cultures within like neighborhoods and communities
Mhm.
and appreciating that, finding the things that are common and then appreciating those that are different and figuring out how to be better and love each other better. So I feel like
Instead of being afraid of them. Yeah.
exactly, like
Mhm.
I don't know.
Or, hey, you need to be like us. We
Yeah,
know it all. We got
yeah.
all the answers.
Well, and,
Yeah.
like, I would get upset when, like, I like, the Cambodian, like, culture and the structures of their buildings, and then you could, like, obviously tell, like, a church because it was, like, Americanized, it's, like,
Yeah.
very Western, and you're like, "Come on now, like, appreciate what they have," and you know what I mean? Like, don't force everything on them,
Yeah. Yeah.
even to that standard, so,
Now, I
uh,
get I get why people do it. I
yeah,
do. If you think honestly, if you think the world's going to hell unless you
yeah,
go tell them the good news, quote unquote, which isn't very
mhm,
good news if you think about it and dissect it and pull it apart. But if you really believe that, of course, this is what you're going to do. You
yeah,
really think you are saving the world. It is a savior complex and
yeah.
it is very powerful. It's very powerful.
And I think
But
I had that going in for
of
sure.
course you did. Yeah, of
Um,
course you did.
but being exposed to life and travel and different types of people and yeah, it was just so impactful for me.
And meanwhile, Stephanie, I have no idea this is kind of what you're going through because at this point, I'm still on Christian radio. I'm
Mhm,
still speaking and doing the thing. I'm sort of unraveling
mhm,
very, very quietly. You would have
mhm,
never known because I kept playing the game. Um, it was 2016 before I finally said, I need to step away from church for a little bit. I just needed to
mhm,
kind of cool off. I did not understand, a lot of the political stuff that was happening, and I was concerned.
mhm.
So where were you at that point? And do you remember when you realized what was happening with me? I don't remember.
I feel like I remember when you guys moved to Utah, that being one of the first times, I know we kind of weren't as consistent going to church. I was kind of in and out. I wasn't living, like, near you guys for some of that, so I didn't know all of it.
Right.
Um,
I wasn't
but
even talking to dad though. Like I didn't
yeah,
talk to anybody about it. I was
yeah.
very tight-lipped because
Mhm.
everything that was happening, I thought it was, of course, the enemy. I
Yeah.
thought I was being deceived and something was happening. Moving to Utah was my Cambodia. It was
Mhm.
when I realized these people, I think I had a savior complex a little bit when I came here because even though I had
You're
been,
taught to. That's what
yeah,
you're supposed to have.
you are the light of the world.
Mhm.
You need to go and show everybody the truth. And then when I came here and they're like, no, we have the full truth.
Yeah.
And it was the Mormons, and they're like, "No, we have the full, gospel. You only have a
Yeah.
part of it." And I was like, "Wait a minute, wait, that's what I say. That's my line."
Yeah. And have the
Um,
same, like,
yeah,
rebuttals for any question. Like, it's crazy.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was like holding a mirror up and realizing
Yeah.
that, oh my gosh. And then starting to study religion. And then I think I started talking to you and you were like, "Mom, I felt the same way when I went
Mhm.
to Cambodia." And I was finally privy to what my
Mhm.
daughter had been really quietly struggling with, which I don't blame you for not telling me. I would not have taken it well.
Well, and you were always the queen of, "How are your quiet times? Have you prayed about that?" And, oh, I love you,
I'm
but man,
so
that was so
sorry.
hard. "How's your
Oh,
walk with the
no.
Lord?" I was
How's
like,
your walk with
"Oh,
Jesus?
woo." I'm
Yeah.
getting anxious again thinking about it,
I'm getting anxious too. Thank you. Like people do that to me now. And I'm like, ew. But you know what? I was a very zealous, excited Christian. A
Yeah.
lot in my life changed when I became a Christian because
Mhm.
I wanted it to. I
Yeah.
wanted to be different. And I was so zealous. And I think it actually cost me a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
People did not want to have anything to do with me. And the same thing happened when I left religion. I got very
Isn't that
zealous.
fun?
I know it's
Oh, yeah.
just great.
I
No,
think
and
that's just who you are. You're just a zealous person.
I really kind
In
of
a good
am.
way,
And
though. I don't
yeah,
feel like
yeah,
that's a
yeah.
bad thing.
I always do it from a heart of love, always.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite things you've ever said to me, by the way,
Yeah.
Steph. And I have to remind myself of that every single day. Is
Yeah.
she and I were
No
talking
matter
one.
what. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, Mom, no matter what phase of your life, because Stephanie has been around literally since I was 20 years old. I gave birth when I
Mhm.
was 20. So we've kind of grown up together. And
I raised her.
she raised me. You did such a good job.
You're welcome.
And but like she did say to me once, she's like, Mom, don't be so hard on yourself. Cause I was like bawling, like, I'm so sorry, and yeah, do you remember that?
Yeah.
It
I
was a
do.
powerful, powerful
And
conversation.
that's what, like, I don't fault you for anything, like, you're just trying to make it. And that's kind of where I've landed, like, in my spirituality. I don't know where I honestly am still trying to figure it out, but, one thing that's really helped me love people better and love myself better even is, we're all just trying to make it. Like, I
Mhm.
love that. And
Yeah.
I it just helps us all, we're this world is hard, this life is challenging, and when you look at people as just, like, trying to survive, and, like, people find comfort in religion and in communities and doing other things, and sometimes they're destructive, but that's just their way of trying to figure it out, and, like, they'll come around, or, I don't know, it just kind of all works out. That's kind of where I'm at. Um, Maybe more of, like, a universalist
Yeah.
mindset, but it just has helped me love people more than, uh, just, like, condemning every little thing.
Yeah.
Um, so not
Yeah.
feeling as manipulative, meeting people
Yeah.
where they're
And
at.
your connections are genuine now. They're
Mhm.
not like you don't have like this ulterior motive that like,
Yeah.
okay, I need to make sure that they know the truth so they don't go to hell. Now I like when I meet people, I'm like, I don't necessarily need them to know anything about me. I'm like, if you want to know about me, I do a podcast. Go listen.
Yeah, yeah,
I want to hear about you now. Like tell
yeah,
me your story.
exactly.
That's just so different and freeing and beautiful, but it was really hard to get here. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, seeing you is what made me want to, get into church because you were so lovely about it and
Mhm.
you were genuinely happy to be there. You were.
Yeah,
You loved it until you started to kind of see the hypocrisy and the
yeah.
difficulties and and you did that honestly. Like you
Mhm.
really asked the tough questions. You just did it quietly.
Yeah.
And
I'm also very much an internal processor, so I'm
yeah,
a little nervous about doing the podcast because I need to think like a million. I was like, "Mom, I gotta prep. Can I read these my
yeah,
thoughts out to you?"
you're so much like
Uh,
your dad. Oh my gosh,
and
you
Mom's
are.
like, "It's fine. It's not a big deal." I'm
It's just
like,
a
"Mom, you do this.
conversation.
You do this every day. This is my first podcast in my life." So, um, but yeah,
Yeah,
I just have to take time and thinking and processing. And so I was a lot quieter about it, as you're a lot more verbal, which is good. Nothing's
it's just
wrong.
who I am.
Like it's
Yeah,
just who
it's who I
you
am.
are. And like,
Mhm.
it's worked for me, it's worked for you. And yeah, we're just trying to
Sometimes
make
I
it.
don't even think about things until they come out of my mouth, and I'm like, "Dang, I gotta write that down."
Yeah.
Because like, I am such like, I don't process internally. If I did, it would get caught up in all the other thoughts that I'm having, and I
Yeah.
would lose it.
Mhm.
And that's why if you know somebody with ADHD, which is me, 100%, if you ever wanna know what ADHD looks like, come hang out with me for a day. And, Steph knows. Yeah, I lose my keys a lot. I forget what I'm saying. I don't know why I walked in a room sometime. And it's been like this my whole life. This isn't
Mhm.
like, "Oh, she's getting old now." No,
Yeah.
it's always been like this. But I really do think that if I didn't have any kind of way to be able to verbally process, and that's why it was so hard for me going through deconstruction initially, because
Mhm.
I didn't wanna verbally process to
Yeah.
anybody. Um, but I do think it's important, if you're a verbal processor to have somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
But your internal processing worked beautifully for you.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
do
It
you
worked.
do that? Are you a journal like, is that
Oh,
your
yeah. I love journaling, writing. I went to a lot of therapy. Shout out my therapist. She's the best. But she specializes in like religious trauma. And so going through that with her was just so impactful.
yeah,
Yeah. And like, I think post divorce too for me, I was married just shy of 3 years. And up to that point, it had always been, like, the goal, like, I need to get married, and, like, that's my purpose, and honestly, that's, like, the purpose Christian
yeah,
like, you're
yeah,
supposed
I
to be
mean,
a mom and a wife, like, those are
mhm,
your roles as a woman, and so, like,
mhm,
who am I without either of those, you know? And so, the past, 3 years now has been just so good for me, like, I've done a lot of like, each year has kind of been a year of something different, like, my first
the
year
year of
after
Stephanie
the
was the
year of
first year.
Stephanie. And like I was like, you know what? I want to hit the rest of my 50 states, another bucket list item. And so I did and like went to, I don't like 30 something concerts, too
Yeah,
many.
yeah,
Now I'm like, I don't think I can commit to anything anymore, but um for
but you had
my 1 year.
to.
But yeah, and it's just like I needed to like do what I wanted to do. Not to like manipulate any other event in my life, but just to enjoy who I am. And yeah, going to therapy and like focusing on my health and focusing on my finances and finally in like a good spot where I'm comfortable with who I am.
Yeah,
Um, so it's just, I don't know, it's been a fun little journey. Every season has had really great things, some obviously challenging things,
yeah,
but I'm thankful for like you guys. I'm thankful you guys are all in the same boat, the whole fam. Like I don't have
mhm.
to be worried about saying anything at Christmas or
I
Thanksgiving,
know.
and
Whew, isn't that nice?
it's
So
really
nice.
nice. And
We're all
just
on the
like,
same page.
and it's just so lovely and fun. Like it's not, I don't know, like I don't know. I'm just very thankful
Yeah, me too.
for where we've landed.
Well, a lot of people ask me all the time, like, "Is your family okay? Like, are they still in the church or is your husband?" And it's like, I don't know how this happened. I think we all just sort of I mean, our family is very close, like
Yeah.
very, like almost obnoxiously. Like, if you're going to be a part of this, like if you're going to date one of my kids, like you just have to
You
know
better know.
we're obnoxiously close. And so I think when one goes through something, we all do. And so we've all
Yeah.
sort of gone through this together. And I've kind of I've tried to keep you kids out of what I'm doing here as much as possible. But
Yeah.
I love that you wanted to be a part of this and share your journey, because I do think there's a lot of people your age, especially millennials,
Mhm.
who really went through a lot with that with the purity culture. How are you
Yeah.
doing with all that now? Where are you at?
I feel like I'm healed from it. I mean, I haven't been in a relationship since the divorce, so I don't know from that
Yeah.
perspective, but at least like who I am and, like, how I'm viewed, I feel like I have a healthier way, and I'm not just,
Yes.
like, a prize to be won, but I'm somebody myself, and honestly, like, I'm really content with who I am, like, where, like, the I have a really good life. Like, I've intentionally built this life for myself that's been really fun, really rewarding in the ways that are rewarding, and I'm just gonna need somebody who meets that, and if they don't, then that's okay. Like I'm content by myself. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at with that.
And that's where I think a strong family comes in too.
Yeah, yeah. If I
When you have
didn't
a
have you
strong
guys,
well, a strong support system, your brother, your sisters, your parents, we all just adore you.
yeah,
And it's like that can change everything.
yeah. And I love
And
like all their significant others, like family gatherings. Like we had last weekend or a couple weekends ago, I think Halloween, and like we were all here, and
just
like I
dancing.
love holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas and
So fun.
birthdays, like, and I just feel very fortunate too, at least in this season, that everyone's here in Utah, and
Mhm.
so be able to just
Mhm.
like, hey, I'm going to a doctor appointment. Do you want to grab lunch after?
Mhm.
Or anything. And
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it's just been fun.
Yeah.
I'm I feel freer, I feel lighter. I enjoy having my weekends to go out in the nature. For me, that's really healing. I don't feel burnout. I feel like a lot of the time, I mean, okay, in some ways I feel burnout, but at least like faith-based, it's like I think sometimes our willingness to serve and the expectation to serve, uncompensated to the point of burnout, which is so challenging, is like I remember when I first moved after I got back from Cambodia, and this was like my first time in life, and this was challenging because I had never been on my own really. Like I always
Mhm.
had, I mean, I guess I was in Cambodia, but it was different. I don't know how to explain it, but I was renting a house with my best friend in Asheville, um, and I went to the doctor as soon as I got back and went to like specialists, nutritionists, just so, because I was having some like health issues, going to physical therapy, all this stuff, get medical bills astronomical. Didn't realize that copays don't cover everything. And I'm 24, 25 at this point. So it's kind of almost embarrassing. I feel like I was developmentally behind a
Yeah,
lot of my peers
you were
because
in your bubble.
yeah. And
Mhm.
like I didn't have to, I mean, I rented a place, but it was just different. Like it felt like kind of like a fever dream those 2 year and 7 months in Cambodia. So, um, but yeah, coming back and like honestly, I had to get on food stamps. I was working full time at a nursing home, $10 an hour, working overtime when I could. Like literally, people would call out, and I'd have to stay overnight, work 16 hours straight, not ready for it, not prepared. But yeah, it was a tough awakening, getting back into the real
And then you
world.
were at a church and you were tithing your
Tithing my
10%.
10%. I was really good about it. And, but still on food stamps and, trying to just survive and not on ramen noodles. And yeah, I will say I love that church in that period. It was still a really good time. I made really great friends. So it's like a lot of things. Like I have no bad blood.
Yeah,
Like
same.
I've had really positive experience. I've made some of the best friends in the world, that are still in it, still going to churches and stuff. And I just don't know if it's for me. And I did try to go back. Was it 20,
We all do
20
that.
probably like 4 or 5 years ago. And I went to this like group, like a kickball group. And it was like the millennial group. And so I went and I sure like, and these are probably petty, but I remember they're like, how long are we playing for? And they're like, well, until the sun goes down or till Jesus comes back, one of those two. And I was just like,
Oh gosh.
and, and then I
I don't think I
remember
can do this. Yeah.
another person like was catching the ball and it hit him in the face, and he was like, "Oh, is it like a sloppy wet kiss or a unforeseen kiss?" Which is like
Oh my gosh.
something that
It's a
was like
Christian
in a
song. Yeah.
song, and like I just was like trauma, like
Yeah.
like I can't do this. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
finding church in different ways. Like today, I spent the morning fishing and just like watching the birds and watching the fish and the little otters and um hearing the sound of the river, just the quietness, and appreciating that, like, creation and that, um, the beauty around us. Being still. I know that's maybe that's one thing I've brought for me from the Christian faith is just being still, um, and finding peace in that. So,
So who is God to you now? Who is Jesus to you now? How do you see all that now?
I see God and Jesus a little differently. Um, Jesus for me, I just think he would be so upset with how Christians are treating everyone now. I just like I really respect Jesus. I admire how he stood um for the least of these. Like the he he was just so beautiful and pure and wanted the best. I don't know. Just he's very welcome. Like it's not like a Jesus. Like I still feel very warmly
Yeah. Same.
with him. With God, I'm still trying to figure it out. It's a journey, it's a process, we're all trying to make it, but,
Yeah.
I I like to think that there's purpose, um, that we were created for a purpose. It's a little comforting. I'm still trying to figure all that out. I don't know. Purpose is a really important thing for me,
Yeah.
but I'm also learning to not put so much, like, weight on that. I don't know, just, like, just exist, be still.
Just be. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're a
and
human
so
being, not a human doing.
exactly, and so, for me, I just, like I don't know, from Jesus is a little warmer for me, God's a little
Mhm.
scarier,
Mhm.
I kind of appreciate the universe and how things work together,
Yeah.
I think we're all, like, connected a lot more than we think we are, and I think that's what's hard about like, for me, like, the 2016 election was just really challenging for me and the
Yeah.
deconstruction and just, like, seeing the hatred and, the division and, like, it being idolized and
Mhm.
appreciated and honestly, like, praised, and that
Yeah.
was so hard for me, like, I was like, "I really need somebody to explain how this is okay." Um,
And nobody
n
could.
nobody could, and I was like
Yeah.
I just remember somebody telling me, like, "He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke. He is loose with women, but that's okay." And I'm just like, "How is that better?" And it's
Well,
just
I think
like
the deflection is what gets me, is
yeah.
when they're like, "Well, so what? You want Biden or you want,
And it's not
Kamala?"
about that.
And
Like,
it's like,
I just want a good person who actually cares about people, you know? It's like
yeah.
and that's what's so hard. It's just like there's so much division for no reason and people don't listen. And that's what I tried to glean on. And it's just like, I want to listen. I want to get to know you. I want to know your views. They might be different from me. And that is okay. That's what makes the world beautiful, you know? Like if we
Yeah.
all thought the same way, what's the point? You know?
You sound
Like
like your mom.
I know. I mean learned a thing or two, but
No, maybe I learned it from you. I don't
yeah.
know. Who knows? You
But it
did raise me, so.
yeah, it's true. It is, yeah, it's just freer. I feel way more free and at peace, happier,
Yeah, same.
joyful, just I'm just in a good spot, and
Well,
I
I
feel good
will
about it.
say over the last couple years, especially the last year, Stephanie has grown so much. She's finally learning that it's not a sin to take care of yourself, to put
That
yourself before anything else. Because literally, if you don't take care of you, how do you have anything to give to anybody else?
yeah,
And, we were taught for so long, and I'm sorry, I probably drilled this into you, Jesus first, others second, yourself last, if you want to have
always.
joy. It,
Yeah.
it was always about everyone else, which completely takes out autonomy. And I've
Mhm.
seen you step into your autonomy this year
Mhm.
in a
Yeah,
way that makes me so happy for you.
yeah.
You're fully just loving yourself and
Mhm.
and without shame. Whereas I
Mhm.
feel like initially you felt like this is naughty.
Yeah. I was literally asking my therapist, I was like, how do you do self-care? Like, what does that mean? Self-love? What? I
What
can't
is
do that.
that?
That's simple.
I
Like, I
know.
just like yeah, learning
Mhm.
how to put myself first, you know? And I don't know. That's I think by putting myself first helps me appreciate others more too, because I'm not burnt out as much. Like I can I have
or
more in my
resentful.
cup. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we get resentful. Even as when I was in Christianity, I mean, I was just constantly volunteering and doing
Yeah.
everything for
Oh,
everybody,
same.
making sure that the room was in a, everybody was happy. I was so on all the time
Mhm.
that I was exhausted. I look at pictures of myself back then and I'm just like, she was so tired,
Yeah.
so tired.
Yeah. Whew,
Expectation was high, but
was high.
freedom. We're free, Steph.
Freedom.
We're
I
free.
know.
And isn't that what it's all about? I feel like
Yeah.
at this point in my life, it's like, let's just follow love and freedom and
Mhm.
let's just be kind and
Yeah.
try to make the world a better place for the little bit of time that we're in it?
Well, how dare you have that thought? No,
And
just kidding.
you
The hate
I mean,
you
you
get for
can't
just wanting
lie
to
and you
love.
can't pretend. She just smiles so big. Sometimes when we play games, oh my gosh, stuff I'm gonna tell on you. It's so
That's fine,
funny.
that's fine.
Like we play Balderdash or something, and like when her answer is read, she just starts giggling, and we're just like, Stephanie, please, you're
I
getting
have to put my head down,
She does. She has to put
so
her head down
I
in her
never
lap
was good
and
at
learn.
lying. Mom never had to discipline me for that.
I really didn't. I didn't. That was so funny. Anyway, but Stephanie, do you have anything else you want to say before you go? Because I don't want to cut you short. If you want to talk more, or if you want to say anything or whatever.
Good. This was good for me.
Yeah.
I
Do you
appreciate
feel
the
good?
time. I do. Yeah.
I remember the first podcast I spoke about my journey on. I walked away terrified. I think I was shaking. I feel like I
Yeah.
may have even thrown up because it was so vulnerable and it was so the opposite, I think, of what my message was for so long.
Mhm.
But now I'm so thankful that I
Yeah.
did that. And I hope that you find healing in this
Yeah.
too, as you continue to just like blossom into this amazing young woman. And
Yeah.
so I love you so freaking much.
Love you
I don't know
too,
if you know
Hannah.
that. I don't know if you
I
know that.
I've questioned it a time or two, but just kidding.
She better be kidding. I'm obsessed with my kid.
I never doubt anybody's love for me in the family, so
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of love. So, well, thank you, Steph. I honor your journey. I
thank
thank
you.
you for sharing it because I think it's really cool for people to hear that, the two people in the same family
Mhm.
going through deconstruction, neither one of us knew.
Yeah.
I don't even remember when we first started talking about it, but
Yeah. Yeah, it
I'm
must
glad
have
we
been when y'all
did.
moved
It
to
must have been,
Utah.
I want to
I
say
was scared to say anything, so I didn't tell you.
same because I
Yeah.
was like, I have a demon and my daughter's going to be so disappointed in me. Little did I know she had a demon too. No, just
I had
kidding.
a demon too.
We're kidding. That's not what it is. I promise. Somebody's going to take that little clip
That
and be like, Leslie admitted, and so did her daughter. It's the
put
same
red
thing we're
eyes
doing.
on us. As we
Anyway,
talk
listen,
about love and kindness,
yes, I
but
know the whole thing. So, well, I love you. I'm proud of you. And I can't wait to
thank you.
see just how much more you grow over the next
Yeah.
year or two. And so thank you. Thank you for
Yeah, thank
sharing.
you.
Love you,
Definitely.
Steffi.
Love you too.